You know, folks, have you ever had this problem with Windows? You know, where suddenly you're doing something and you're doing something and all of a sudden the monitor suddenly just crashes temporarily and then comes back up like nothing happened. Or, you know, you're opening another browser window in your Google or Internet or Firefox Explorer, or you're on another page, but you're opening another page, and all of a sudden that page doesn't load, and it says and it gives you the picture of a dead monitor or a dead screen or a dead thing saying snap. And then after that, have you ever had a problem that when all that happens when you've had that second, when your page that you're trying to get to doesn't load and it says it failed to load, have you ever had the problem to where all of a sudden your computer is asking you to shut down, acting like it's going to shut down? It gives you the shutdown screen when you haven't even authorized that you want to shut down. Well, if you have, then you know where I'm coming from. You see, a couple of nights ago, the monitor on the computer in the rec room messed up a little bit and kind of crashed a little, and kind of just all of a sudden just went blank for a few seconds and came back on. It didn't know what the problem was. It said it was something, but I didn't know what it was. I couldn't tell what it was. And then the other night, when because I'm on YouTube, I open up another browser page to check out wrestling news at ringsidenews.com. I click on an article, and all of a sudden I get the picture. All of a sudden I get this page that says snap, failed to load. And then after that, as I mentioned, I suddenly get the thing that asks the shutdown screen asking me if I want to shut down. Well, basically, I get the shutdown screen that I usually get when I turn the computer off. Even though I didn't touch anything to turn it off. I didn't say, hey, turn it off. I didn't say anything. So I wasn't sure what was going on. All I do know was when that shutdown part came on, it was only a little bit before that I, once again, kind of went in my cycle, if you will, and basically silenced the antivirus programs of the Norton antivirus software for another 24 hours. Because I understand that virus programs like Norton, they got a job to do. They got to make sure there's nothing that enters your computer, and that's great. But they also, and I'm sure anybody would agree with me on this, they also cause you, despite the fact that you may have the new fangled computer out there, the newest model, if you will, that anytime you have it installed, they always end up interrupting you and slowing down your progress because it's like, oh, well, we're on this page, but wait a minute, we've got to make sure this page is on the virus. Let's scan a little bit. Scan. It's like you can't even tell you, like one of the programs I used to have, that at a certain time range, they're going to do a scanning, you might want to be away from the computer. AVG, or something like that I had a couple years ago, would tell me, oh, by the way, we're going to do a virus scan at this time in the morning and this time in the afternoon for about 2-3 hours. You might want to limit yourself on your computer until then. Maybe even an hour. But it would basically give you, an idea that they're going to do it. And it gave you a schedule. When you would click on the little icon, it would give you a schedule. But Norton doesn't do that. They only give you the options of how long you want to shut down the virus thing. Anyway, besides that, what happened afterwards was I finally did decide to shut down for the night. So I get up the next morning, and the computer's still on. And I'm thinking, well, wait a minute, I shut it down. So I turn on the monitor, and there's these couple of boxes basically saying system repair. In other words, it basically telling me the system crashed. And I wasn't sure what happened. I wasn't sure what happened, so I said, okay, self-repair. So I click on the thing saying it's got to automatically self-repair itself, and it does, and it fixes it, and so far so good. But I couldn't figure out why this was happening until last night. You see, whether we want to believe it or not, it seems every day, at certain points of every day, at a certain time of the month, which is basically the mid part of the month, early to mid part of the month, a program like Windows will start acting up a little bit, slowing things down, and you don't know what the problem is. You don't know what's going on, and then all of a sudden, when you're getting ready to shut down, you see this little shield, little orange shield with the exclamation point, and then basically that's when you get the idea, oh crap, it's going to do it. Well, basically you get the idea like, oh crap, it's doing an update. Or, well, basically you get the idea that everything, all the acting up that I've been doing in those days leading up to that, suddenly dawns on you that they've been preparing themselves for an update. Instead of letting you know, instead of having something pop up on the screen, right as you're, let's say, turning on your computer, and you're going in and you're logging into your portion of the computer, it doesn't have the courtesy to say, oh, by the way, at such and such times during this day, we will be preparing to do an update. Or they basically telling you that certain parts of the day, they're going to be preparing and doing maintenance, doing some maintenance to prepare for an update. Or at least let you know when said updates are going to happen. But they don't. Instead, let's say you're on Google, you're on Internet Explorer or Firefox, and all of a sudden it's like, what's going on? Why am I going so slow? Then what you do is sometimes you got to check your little icon box on the left or on the right, depending where the screen's going to be. Right here. Well, you got to also check the other one where you shut down your computer, the little Windows symbol, to see if there's any indication. And usually when you check on this one, if you will, when you check on this one, right here, when you check on this one, you're bound to either see a little rectangle Windows symbol, a little rectangle thing with the Windows symbol in it and a little like Saturn little ring around it, letting you know that there's an update happening, that there's updates. And they can't just tell you, oh, by the way, we're going to have an update coming up at this so-and-so time. They don't let you know. It's like you just got to automatically guess. And you know what happens? That causes you sometimes to mess up, especially if you got something like the Norton antivirus, like an antivirus program, like Norton. It will cause you to mess up because they don't have the courtesy to let you know they're going to be doing a freaking update. I mean, my old computer, my computer in my room, which has the Windows XP program, you know, at least it lets you know that it's doing an update. At least it pops up saying downloading update at such and such time. This one doesn't even do it. And this is Windows 7 Ultimate. It says you're supposed to automatically guess. At least they let you know, oh, Windows XP version, that they're doing an update. So that when you do shut down your computer, you'll know why it acted up a little bit. But again, I ask you, have you ever had that problem? Because to me, it's a first. It's a first for me. To have it crash, to have the monitor kind of blank out for just a bit, for just a few seconds, and then another day have the system just crash because obviously they were working on doing a damn update at the same time I had shut down the Norton deal, and again it just boggles me why they don't let you know ahead of time. Oh, at this date, on this day and time, at this day and time, on this day and at this time frame, we will be letting you know that an update is ready to be installed. And get this, I can understand if it's maybe 15 updates that need to be taken care of. Or it's an update it's an update that contains 15 updates. But not one, unless that one, as I probably just realized this morning, was a biggie. Because what happened is, after I let it update last night as it was shutting down, and then I turned it back on this morning, it basically says, it's configuring all the items. It's configuring everything, don't touch, right? So it gets to a certain percentage, then it gets, I guess, to 100%, then it shuts down. Then it restarts again, and it goes back to what it did before. So obviously it's a huge update. I don't know what the update is or what's going on. But again, you think they would at least have the courtesy to let you know, so you don't have to deal with this crap. So again, I ask you, have you ever dealt with this when it comes to Windows or even Mac? Have you ever dealt with this? Because I've dealt with it recently. And again, I'm getting sick and tired of the fact that they're not giving you the courtesy like they used to with Windows XP in some ways, that they're doing an update. Because, look, this computer in the rec room, that computer in that rec room, me and my mom share that computer. Me and my family share it when they're over. What do you think my mom, who's learning, who's just getting the hang of doing these kind of, my mom, who's getting the hang of using these kind of computers, what do you think she's going to do one day? Let's say I'm working down the line, I'm with my potential employer, which is McDonald's, pray I get that. What do you think is going to happen if suddenly that happens to her? Do you think I'm going to want to get a phone call at work saying, oh, Brian, by the way, this happened, I don't know what to do? No. That is why I believe companies like Windows and Mac need to have the courtesy they used to have in some ways with the previous programs by saying, hey, by the way, we're going to do an update at such and such time, or an update is occurring right now, you might want to be ready to shut down your computer. You think they would let you know, but they don't, and it's BS. They need to improve on that. Because sooner or later, somebody's going to come down the line, whether it's Apple or Sony or somebody, is going to come down that line, maybe an entirely new company with a new software that's similar, if not better than Windows and Mac. They're going to come down that line. They're going to say, "Hey, we're going to give you guys everything." They're going to say, they're going to say, and they're going to show, say, and prove, and actually do it. They're going to say, show, and actually give you what they say is going to be on that program. If they say, "Oh, by the way, we're going to let you know when and where an update for the program is going to be," something's going to happen if they don't get their act together. But again, I ask you, has this ever happened to you with Windows or Mac? And do you think Windows or Mac should at least let you know when they're going to update so you don't have to worry about why things are acting up so much? So let me know what you guys think down below. Comment if you like, but let me know if you've ever dealt with this, and I'll talk to you later.